Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for February 2023. So welcome to February. Of course, we have to break it down, take a look at the modern day calendar, which of course suggests that February is the second month, and the traditional calendar that would suggest that February is actually the 12th month. Whichever way you look at it, we are being kind of forced to focus on 2 and 3s. What does that mean? Well, 2s are about building, creating, stabilizing. 3s are about shifting perspectives, understandings, having new details and information come in order to change our minds. We are definitely focusing in on bringing new information in, challenging our beliefs, challenging our new ideas, and we are looking to actually bring certain aspects of that to life. Now, February is technically the calm before the storm. March is going to absolutely be a banger of a month. Go ahead, listen to the 2023 energy forecast that I broke down each of the months this year and what it is that's coming at us. So February, the first part anyways, is going to feel like a forward motion, maybe slow and steady, but forward nonetheless. And the second half of February is going to be a little bit more slow, a little bit more, I'm going to say, internalized. A lot of that is because, of course, we move into Pisces season. And we have to kind of move into the depths of those emotional and intuitive waters. So February, although a quote unquote short month, looking at the days in the calendar, is actually going to feel pretty freaking long. And coming out of the 145th day of January, we are definitely hoping for a different shift. However, the acceleration that we are feeling at the beginning of February is going to be stalled out. I've been talking about this now for a couple of months, where we were waiting for Mars and Mercury and Uranus to go direct, giving us that green light go ahead to actually see a forward motion, but then be very disappointed when, of course, that momentum gets stalled out, gets bumped, gets blocked, and here we are. This is exactly what is happening. We are wrapping up the old astrological calendar. We are being prepared for some major events, of course, taking place in March. And that is why many of us are exhausted, are feeling like we're stuck in the void, definitely going through a deep purge, if you will. And that is likely going to continue as we move throughout February. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, go ahead. All of the zodiac forecast should be uploaded over the next day, and you can kind of tap into your big three, get a big picture on what February is going to mean for you. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, well, you should be. But if you don't want to be, that's fine too. You can head over to my website and download the zodiac forecasts as you see fit. Now we have a lot of energy pressurizing us coming into the month. We have a lot of, I'm going to say, very special minor astrological aspects really helping us to kind of take those baby steps forward, heal some of the insecurities, fears, and doubts that many of us have been feeling, preventing us from taking the kind of leap forward that we would like. We have some major interactions with some major heavy hitting planets here this month, definitely trying to help us fine tune the path, the direction. Now, we're not going to have a very long time here in February to find stable ground. We jump into the month with a full moon in Leo at 16 degrees, which is definitely going to bring up a lot of the weight, a lot of the heaviness on the heart space that we've accumulated, not only over the last 2 years, but over the last 6 months specifically. We do have to go back to our intentions that we had before we jumped timelines back in August of 2022 in order to kind of see where a lot of the weight on our heart space from old emotional baggage has definitely been weighing us down. Now, this full moon in Leo is going to be a huge reminder in who it is that we are, why it is that we're special and unique. This is going to force us to kind of peel back the layers of our heart space to get real, raw, and vulnerable with what it is that makes us happy, what it is that our mission is, what our purpose is, where it is that we have to put our own wants, needs, and desires before everyone else's. Of course, that's a hard energy to navigate, seeing as we are in Aquarius season, the humanitarian efforts, if you will, and if nothing else, Saturn, who had taken us through this Aquarian energy over the past 1.5 to 2 years, was supposed to be illuminating for us where it is that we need stronger boundaries in our life so that we don't constantly put our own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner in order to do what we think other people want us to do. The Aquarian energy wants us to fit in, even if it means dimming our light in order to fit in with the collective, while this full moon in Leo is shining a bright spotlight on why it is that we need to stand out. We, especially starseeds, especially the sensitive ones here, are really pushing to take the lead, to stand out, to be an individual in order to create a new reality. We can't create anything new if we get stuck dimming our lights, diminishing our power, and trying to fit in with everyone else. So we're definitely going to feel this tension kind of build. The full moon in Leo is attempting to be the first activator to crack our heart space wide open throughout the month of February so that we are prepared when we jump into March, especially Aries season, where the new astrological calendar begins, for us to start fresh. We will have Mercury move into Aquarius energy on the 11th, and that's definitely going to push the boundaries of our mental processes. Of course, this Aquarian energy being ruled over by Uranus is the highest level of our intellect, really connecting with the highest level of information in other dimensions, downloading us with profound insights, new ideas, new inspirations in order to actually bring certain things to life. How do we do that? We drop it down into the lower level intellect that, of course, Mercury rules over. We get to throw some logic, practicality, some structure to it, and we actually get to work on bringing some of these brilliant, profound ideas into our physical realm. We will have a last quarter moon taking place at 24 degrees in Scorpio energy on the 13th, definitely wrapping up this last particular lunar cycle, really seeing where a true transformation is taking place, first in our inner realm, second in our outer realm, once we can get our heart and head on the same page. There is a merging of our highest and lowest self, our ego self, our, I'm going to say, intuitive self, and we really are having to feel that divide in order for that merging to actually take place. This would be a great time to subscribe to the Moon Guide, follow that lunar phase from start to finish so that you know what stage of manifesting that we're in and what kind of energies we have to work with in order to bring things full circle. It's coming at a great time because on the 18th, we have the sun moving into Pisces energy, a water sign. The last water sign, the last sign period in the zodiac wheel. And of course, as dreamy and healing and transformative and intuitive and imaginative that this Pisces energy actually is, it is also the unconscious part of self. It is where we kind of enter into the shadow realm of our experiences because endings, closures need to take place in order to prepare us for new beginnings, to actually have a space to be initiated in, which of course we will see come in hot and heavy when we move into Aries season. It's only about a day or two later on the 20th that we have the new moon taking place in Pisces energy. Again, this is the fourth new moon in a row taking place at a 1 degree, 22 minutes this time, which is another master number. We've been kind of experiencing these last new moons at these 1 degrees, varying between the 22 minutes and the 33 minutes, which are both very divinely scripted numbers. What does this tell us? It tells us that we're working with new karma. We're working with new storylines. We're working with new soul contracts. And as light and as fluffy, as imaginative and dreamy as we would want to be under this Piscean energy, it is a new moon, a dark moon, where we have to realize what it is that is ending, what it is that we no longer want to experience, what it is that we're done with, what it is that we've outgrown, what it is that we want to close the door on in order to create a proper framework on what it is that we want to invite in the place of the elements in which we are cutting off and cutting the cord with. Now, just hours after the new moon in Pisces, we will have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, move out of this Piscean energy where she definitely had a huge impact on her relationship values, on her own self-worth, on what it is that she wants to dream and create from here. And moving into the Aries energy is a fresh, clean slate, especially where new soul contracts are concerned. Now, Venus isn't messing around in this Aries energy as she taps into the masculine energy force that kind of triggers and activates her to be a little bit more direct and straightforward with identifying who and what makes her happy, who and what brings her a sense of pleasure, happiness, joy, contentment. And of course, in identifying all that does, we really come to a new realization on who and what doesn't. Now, this Aries energy is very forceful, very aggressive, very assertive to go after what it is that we actually feel excited and passionate about. We're able to identify new desires that we want to pursue, new missions, new purpose. And you best believe that Venus, she is going to do whatever she has to do in her new pursuits of happiness. Now, that would kind of wrap up all of the major energies taking place. Again, we have Saturn popping off with Chiron. We have Pluto and Jupiter making a harmonious aspect towards the end of February, really opening us up to see a major shift, a major transformation, a huge amount of growth, if you will, on really kind of dismantling some of the constructs, some of the foundations and structures in our lives in order for us to be able to actually build something new in its place. Keep in mind that Pluto will be nearing the 29th crisis degree in Capricorn energy towards the end of February as he prepares to shift into Aquarius energy that will be taking place in March. So we have a lot of forward movements taking place in March, and February is kind of, like I said, the calm before the storm, really stripping us down, making us real and raw and vulnerable with ourselves, really kind of cleansing our soul, our spirit. We don't have a whole lot of time to find a little bit of stable ground before we jump into an absolute whirlwind of, I'm going to say, divine chaos, really sorting us out and putting us in a brand new chapter of our lives when we move into March. So if you are ready, let's break it down. Let's jump into what February has to offer, one astro forecast at a time.